VenomousStare returns with another exceptionally exciting Venomous Classic. Again, we have IdrA's GSL run. This is going to be a consistent theme on this channel because of the fact that not only is the Venomous Classic Series something that is a backbone to this channel and something that pretty much every subscriber I have loves, whether they be the newbie Starcraft 2 viewer that subbed to my channel because of my hotkey videos, or the person who subbed to my channel because of the pro replay cast. And let's be honest, even the people on my channel that have come across the sports videos or the shooter videos, or shit, even the MOBA videos, these videos should interest them because this is the best esport in the world, Starcraft, being played at the highest level, the top tier, top of the line Korean tournament, the GSL. And this is the second match ever played in the GSL, way back 10 years ago. And this is game 2 of this series. And this is one of those series that if you haven't seen the first game, you actually have to like the video right now and pause it, drop a favorite, and go watch the first game of this series. Link will be in the description. And if ever I say link is in the description and it's not in the comments, and you're like, well, where is it? VenomousStare, you idiot. I don't want to sift through your channel. I have playlists all over my channel, including the Venomous Classic Series, Starcraft 2 Pro games, and if you like other stuff, I have that segmented in playlists as well. So, IdrA Fields is taking on Chicken Combo here in the round of 64 of the GSL Open bracket. And earlier in this video, we weren't really able to talk about imbalance, and when I say this video I mean this series, because IdrA played on Xel'Naga Caverns, which was, even though it's really not a good map, it wasn't like disgustingly bad, because at least for Terran and Protoss the natural was sort of hard to take, so Zerg could in some way open up with Speedling Expand and were actually able to put pressure on their opponent. Now, even though this is the first season of GSL and some of the most important initial tournament games, because if you look at the timeline of StarCraft 2 history, you have the beta dropping in March of 2010, and really people hammered the beta and really loved it, and because that was right at the YouTube peak, if you look at whenever YouTube gaming was getting its biggest, November of 2009, the Call of Duty commentary scene exploded beyond anything anyone thought was possible, and that sort of was able to be parlayed into the StarCraft scene also being very popular on YouTube. As far as channels like Machinima go, and obviously Machinima wasn't as big of a deal in developing the popularity of StarCraft as a channel like, say, Husky or HD. Shout out to HD, a guy who actually was a reasonably talented caster, and even when he left the scene, his channel was remained to be benefited from by people who still cared about the game. And even when the CPM went down, HD didn't stab his fans in the back like that spineless rodent simp Mike Husky Lamont. So when the beta first came out, the HDH Invitational occurred, which was Husky and HD's tournament, and thank God HD put those vids on his channel, or else they'd be gone forever. A spineless little Husky, as soon as he got a girlfriend and the CPM went down, deleted his entire channel, forever racing hundreds of valuable StarCraft VODs. And that really upsets me. And that's really the main reason why I do the Venomous Classic Series, is to properly catalog and take a look at all of these interesting games that occurred within the history of StarCraft. And here we see a little bit of Hellion Harass occur. And this is such an absurdly awful map, Desert Oasis. There's this pube-sized choke to the left of IdrA's main. We can see it right there to the left of the Overlord. It's literally like a 3-square choke. absolutely insanely small. And then to the right, he has backdoor rocks, which are also sort of ridiculous. And then just to the northeast of his base, he has a completely undefendable gold, which in many ways is as close to the Terran's main as it is to his. And 3 towers across the middle of the map. My god, this map was an absolutely disgusting joke. And the Terran player Chicken Combo tried to go for a weird proxy factory into rushing out of Hellion, and now he's going for a ghost nuke drop. And I know this might sound absurd, but yes, in the very first GSL season ever, on the very first game ever, a motherfucker did a nuke rush. A motherfucking nuke rush on the games that matter most. And here we can see the nuke actually goes off and kills both of IdrA's extractors. Now, IdrA did run Lings over and was able to find the nuke drop right when it was occurring, but because of the medevac, the Lings weren't able to DPS the ghost down and the nuke got off. The nuke was able to kill both extractors, which whenever you consider the early days of the game, how bad the maps were for Zerg, how hard it was for Zerg to get a third, it's actually a pretty big deal. And remember, IdrA handled that perfectly, pulled all of his workers, didn't have any unnecessary tech out there, literally lost like 0 unnecessary units, and the drop and nuke drop still got off. But it's just very funny to see, like, GSL Season 1, Episode 1, what were they doing? What was actually known and established in the metagame? Because we saw in the Venomous Classic Series, when IdrA played Moro obviously had the 5 racks Reaper with Nitro Pack mastered. And not that that's like, like the hardest build in the world to do is to see another nuke come up, as IdrA desperately wants to clear this factor being floated to fuck with the AI. And because there are a few stim marines here, IdrA can't deal with it with just mutas, so he'll bring some Lings over and the nuke goes down again, so IdrA gets nuked twice in his opening GSL game. Think about how insane that is. If you were to ask a trivia question as the medevac retreat and the ghost goes down. And because Chicken Combo is still sort of on one base and dedicated absolutely fucking everything to this push, and there's not goofball Ignite afterburners to just give Terran players unlimited mistakes, IdrA does do some damage to the medevacs there, cleaning one up. And again, we can see that despite the fact that IdrA was ready for the ghost drop, it cleaned it up, didn't lose any workers, another drop can occur and keep him on the back foot. Chicken Combo is going to continuously aggress on one base, and it's sort of funny to look back at this play from 2010 because it's sort of like, yeah, he's doing like one base ghost drop into like follow-up drop, and on some level it is hilariously terrible. And then on a completely legitimate level, the game had just come out, people weren't doing any of the basic macro mechanics correctly, and all of the good Korean pro gamers had yet to transfer over. And you have to remember, guys, I know as we see IdrA trying to defend a drop, having to pull his drones, and despite the fact that Chicken Combo is a guy who is literally never heard from again, even in the most insignificant, like round of 32-esque regard, we can see that IdrA in this game has gotten sort of razor's edge close multiple times to taking severe damage. Now, if we look at how IdrA has played, he's played exceptionally well, pulling the drones away, bringing the Ling Muta over to defend the drop, not losing anything unnecessary, cleaning up the medevacs, countering with the mutas, and now he's testing the mineral line. IdrA did everything perfect, but if we just consider, yeah, 2 nukes got off, and if he would have made even the slightest micro error, he could have lost. Also consider the drop of the natural, very potent, and even though it was sort of like this half-assed jokish drop that would look like a complete laughingstock in Legacy of the Void, it was still scary because of the maps. It wasn't that everyone was just brain dead and terrible back in this era, even though we will see some pretty like laughable play throughout this Venomous Classic Series. It had more to do with the fact that the maps were so small and so congested and so rush-centric Terran players specifically, with the notable exception of Liquid Genero, would just do ridiculous builds like this. And even for like 2010 absolute newbie, like early days era, this ghost drop was wild. It was really creative and funny. As you see IdrA intercept the elevator drop here, and he's gonna win off of that probably, as the Terran player is still one basing. This is another thing we saw, is the other races would be more willing to go for extended one base play versus Zerg. And here's one thing I wanted to mention in the Xel'Naga Cavern game that I didn't get to, is one thing that never ever gets brought up now, and we never see now, as chicken combo GGs, is players in this early day would do like one base builds to keep Zerg on the back foot, and use the one base build to transition. They would open like one base 3 racks, pressure, and then expand. As you see IdrA take his headset off, think, wow, he fucking went ghost drop? That was weird. No. See that snark? Let's watch that snarky little sardonic eyebrow raise. Watch Greg's eyebrows here. This is why we love him. Like that fucking idiot ghost dropped me on Desert Oasis. Look at that. We're gonna watch it again. Watch this eyebrow raise. Like, you fucking idiot. You could have just bunker rushed. Oh yeah, you went ghost drop instead. Let's watch that again. Let's watch these eyebrows from Gregors here. Watch this. He's glancing at his opponent. Remember, he's in his booth here. He's looking over at his opponent. So you get to play Terran on the most insanely Terran-favored map pool, and everyone in the scene is helping you out and wants you to win. And as far as the Koreans go, we can see this throughout history with players like Naniwa and Neeb. The Korean players sharing replays to try to take down the foreigners. The Korean players definitely have an innate sense of nationalism and pride where they don't ever want to lose to the foreigner. They don't even want to see their peer lose to the foreigner. And when IdrA crushes a Terran player on Desert Oasis, a total joke of a map, he's like, wow, you fucking tried to nuke me, you piece of shit. But anyway, this is going to be the IdrA-thon. We're going to be doing all of IdrA's GSL games that are available on YouTube, because let's be honest, I don't know how much longer they're going to be available on YouTube, and there's no Starcraft backup music, there's no Death Note music, there's no nothing, because I don't want these videos to get taken down. Sub for more. Gregathon.